Okay, here we are. Yes. All right, guys. Yes, welcome. Welcome to the show. To the show. All right. Now, thank you. Thank you, Round Newness. Thank you, girl. Thank you, girl. Okay, so we gotta have at least 3 stories. Okay. Hello to my friends on YouTube. Hey guys, if you are here, if you're ready for a story, please type ready in the comments. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're active. Please write ready in the comments if you are watching over here on the tube view. So I know that y'all are ready. Okay. All right. So our first story tonight. And I'm gonna start with this one specifically for Infinity Crafts because she was in here putting the work in the pre-show, y'all, getting these shares out, getting these taps. Hey, Rick T737. So I really want to make sure that she can get this story, and just in case she has to go. So if you did not know, there is a time limitation on copyrights, right? So if you write a book, if you make a song, if you make a sculpture, right? There are copyrights that go to that, and the copyrights, they last for the life of the creator plus 75 years, right? Um, that's the usual rule. However, Disney, Mickey Mouse Disney, the one that, people cannot afford to go to the to the Disney hotel experience. They were, because they were so powerful at one point, they were able to lobby the government and get an extra 20 years of protection for copyrighted material for corporations. So if you were a big corporation like Disney and you had copyrighted materials, you had the lifetime of whoever created it plus 95 years, right? So they had some extra time. They were trying to push back the they were trying to kick the copyright, the public domain can down the road. They were like, at some point our characters are going to come into the public domain, but we're going to try and make that as late as possible. So they've reached the absolute end, and some of their characters are coming into the public domain, right? So specifically, Steamboat Willie, the very first iteration of Mickey Mouse, not the Mickey Mouse as we know him today, but the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse, that came up into the public domain last year, right? Now, it's been very tricky because it's only the image. The music associated with Steamboat Willie, what else? And any words, things like that, those are still protected, any movies. But the actual image of Steamboat Willie, that by itself is no longer protected, but it's only that very first version of Steamboat Willie. Okay. Infinity Crafts, do you have that? Ron Nunes said the mouse that was before color TV. Absolutely. Steamboat Willie is a black and white character. Now that he's in the public domain, you could probably make it color. But anyway, Steamboat Willie was the very first black and white version of Mickey Mouse. Now, if you're gonna do yes, absolutely good in Infinity Crafts. If you're gonna do Steamboat Willie, it has to be that very first version. You cannot do Mickey as we know him today. That is protected. That's locked up. Okay. Now, another character who is coming into the public domain is the character of Pluto. Can y'all tell me in the comments who is Pluto in the Disney pantheon? Who is Pluto in the Disney pantheon? Um, let me know who Pluto is. So while you let me know that, there is a certain, yes, round noonish. Pluto was I think it was Goofy's dog actually. Which hold up. Is Disney or does Disney support slavery? Hold up. You don't have a dog own another dog. That's slavery. Oh no. Free Pluto. Free Pluto. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so the very first version of Pluto is coming into the public domain. It is his appearance in a movie called The Chain Gang, which was released in 1930, where he was a bloodhound chasing Mickey, and from The Picnic, where he was Minnie's dog, Rover. Okay, so I'm going to say this again. Pluto is about to come into the public domain, but it's very specific. It is only his appearance, the way he looked in the movie The Chain Gang, where he was a bloodhound. Yes, Goofy is a dog too. Well, he was a bloodhound chasing Mickey. So that version of Pluto is coming into the public domain, as well as the version of him from The Picnic, which was released in 1930, where he was Minnie's dog named Rover. So we're talking about the image of Pluto. This does not mean that you can use the name. The name and his identity as Mickey's bestie, it will not become into public domain until next year. Okay. So someone like Infinity Crafts, who does kids decor, while you would be able to use that image of Pluto from the Chain Gang and The Picnic, you would not be able to call him Pluto. You would just have to let people kind of imagine. All right. So, but next in 2027, if you want to make Pluto crafts, you can use his name. So maybe, let's just say you want to make, somebody you're making decor for loves dogs and they love Disney, right? You can make decor in that very first version, in the image of that very first version of Pluto for the tabletop decor. So it doesn't have to have any words on it. If the client is a Disney aficionado and the client loves dogs, right? You can use that image of Pluto, but you cannot use his name and you cannot associate him with Mickey. All right. So it's very nuanced, but if you're determined to do it, you got to do it right? Okay. So, now, so Disney, because of this progression of their characters coming into the public domain, Disney has just made a crazy move that is changing the copyright and AI game. If we are ready for what Disney is doing now to protect its intellectual property, give me a ready in the comments. If you are ready to hear this next step that Disney took, because they're like, look, we've pushed the copyrights as far as we can. We can't go any further than that. If you want to know what their next step is to try and protect their creations, give me a ready in the comments. Okay. Give me a ready. Give me a ready. Okay. I just need some. Thank you, Round Noonish, for the ready. I'm still Infinity Crafts. Are you dealing with the kids? I know you be busy back there, but if you can, give me a ready. My people over here on the StreamYard, wherever, if you are watching from Facebook, um, or the rectangle, the red rectangle, wherever you're watching from, just give me a ready in the comments so I know that you are ready for what Disney did next, because they are scrambling. They are losing their minds because their characters are coming into the public domain. People are making horror stories using Steamboat Willie. People are making horror stories with Winnie the Pooh. Infinity Craft said ready. Okay, on the tube of you, y'all be quiet, but okay, I understand. So here's what happened. Y'all remember when I told you that story about Sora, the Sora AI, the video generation program that is owned by OpenAI, and how they everybody, all of the movie houses were in an uproar because they were generating copyrighted characters. Do y'all remember that story? Even if you don't, OpenAI updated their video generation AI program, right? And it was just spitting out Monsters Inc., Popeyes, whatever was copyrighted, right? And all of the AI CEOs, they have said, look, there is absolutely no way that we would be able to clear all of the copyrights for everything that we use to train our AI. Basically, they're saying the only way we can train our AI is to steal. So Disney said, you know what? If we can't beat them, we gonna join them. Disney has just signed a 3-year licensing deal with OpenAI for the Sora app. They have licensed over 200 characters to OpenAI on the Sora app, and they are going to start broadcasting AI generated content onto their app that is generated by Sora AI. Okay? Do y'all realize how crazy that is? I don't know. Like, basically, Disney is going to be able to make a coin. Okay, say it again. So, Disney inked a 3-year licensing deal with the company that owns the Sora program. Sora, it's owned by OpenAI, the people who do Chat GPT and all that. Disney made a deal with them for 3 years where they are licensing 200 plus of their characters that you can use in the Sora app to make content. And not only that, they're going to take some of that content and stream it on their app. That is insane. But it's brilliant. Disney specifically did it with OpenAI because OpenAI is hemorrhaging money. So they had, they had stake at the table. They couldn't go to Google because Google got deep pockets, right? But OpenAI, they're like, look, we run a little short on liquid cash. And Disney said, you know what, we got you. We'll even let you use these characters, and you could put them on our on our streaming app, but you're gonna pay us. So it's a licensing deal. So OpenAI is going to have to pay Disney to use those characters within the Sora on video generating app. Okay, do we understand that? If we understand, please give me a thumbs up. If you understand what happened between Disney and OpenAI, give me a thumbs up. If you want me to explain more, please just say explain. Because this is changing the game. Some of you guys, somebody watching this, somebody on here might generate a video, a Sora AI video that you will be able to see on the Disney app. Infinity Craft said, how is this benefiting OpenAI? Though the way it benefits OpenAI is because OpenAI has a problem of getting permission to train their assistants. That's why they're getting sued all the time for copyright infringement and trademark infringement. But here they are, they're saying, hey, we have this license with Disney, so we can use these characters in our video generating AI program. So if you want to make your Avengers fan fiction video, you can do that and not worry about being sued for copyright infringement, because Disney has allowed them the license, which they are paying for. Do we understand how that benefits them? Do we understand how that benefits them? Roundunish, I got a thumbs up from you. Okay, Infinity Craft said that she sees. Okay, so for my creatives who do AI generated video, this is a game changer for you. You literally have an opportunity to work with Disney. So I'm interested. I'm very, very interested to see how all of that comes together. I'm interested to see. So is it for specific characters only? Yes, those characters, those will be the characters that you'll be able to access within the Sora app. And I'm assuming, they're probably going to have a big old, rollout for it and say, get your characters here. They're not just going to hide it, right? Because they don't want you to, they're tired of being sued. They are keeping their lawyers busy. They're like, look, they have said, look, there is no way that we can get these individual copyrights. So Disney was like, bet, you know what? Just run us a coin. Here's a bunch of characters and run us this coin so that we will stop coming to sue you. I think it's a good deal. Plus, and it's like OpenAI, they do have paid versions of their programs. I've never used Sora. I don't know if you have to pay to use it, but if you guys could let me know, I would appreciate it. Now, if there's a free version of Sora, you may not be able to access the copyrighted, the licensed characters. But if you are subscribing to a paid version of Sora, actually, let me look this up right now on here. Sora AI, Sora OpenAI pricing plan. Pricing. Let me see. Sora. Okay. Sora pricing is tiered. You have free with limited usage via Chat GPT plus Chat GPT plus. Okay, so if you get Chat GPT plus, which is $20 a month, or Teams, you get a free version of Sora, because Sora is linked to Chat GPT. If you get a higher tier pro plan, you get more usage and resolution. Yeah. Now, if you exceed your free limits, you can purchase credits, like $4 for 10 generations. And then if you get a pro tier of Chat GPT, you get higher resolutions and longer durations, but that pricing is like $200 a month or via credits. So yeah, if you want to use those licensed characters, you're probably going to be paying about $200 a month to use that. Okay. So do we understand how much of a big deal this deal is? This licensing deal is? Do y'all understand? Because, like, listen, I'm ready to see. I'm telling you, Disney gonna pick somebody up from this Sora thing and put them on the app. Okay, somebody's gonna become a director. You said they better give us plus users access. You do have access. You have free with limited usage via Plus or Teams. Yeah. So if you have the Plus, you do have access to Sora, but you only have access to the free version. Girl, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I can't say nothing about that. I feel like because this is a deal where OpenAI is going to have to pay Disney, that means that the users are going to have to pay OpenAI because they're not going to come out of pocket for it. So we shall see. Okay. Um, all right. We talked about that for a minute. But this AI thing, it's crazy. It's not going anywhere. So, people have to figure out solutions. So Disney figured out a solution. They're like, look, we're not going to be able to kill this AI. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. We're not going to be able to unalive this AI thing. So, let's bring them into the fold. All right. Next story. Are we ready for the next story? Are we ready? Are we ready? How many of y'all watched America's Next Top Model? Even if you only watched one season, if you've ever watched America's Next Top Model, give me an ANTM in the comments. ANTM, ANTM, ANTM. Okay. Y'all still quiet over here? YouTube? Come on. Y'all don't want to give me an ANTM? America's Next Top Model? Hello? Hello? Anybody, anybody. Thank you, Round Eunice. Thank you, Infinity Designs. Okay. So, what was one of the things that we all learned from Tyra during ANTM was the smiles. How to smile with your eyes. I don't know if I'm actually doing it now, but I'm trying. But Tyra, she is famous for the smiles. So much so that if you didn't know, Tyra Banks, she launched an ice cream brand that she called Smize and Dream. Okay. You was wondering why I got quiet. Yeah. Oh, wow. Way to diss my smiles, girl. Anyway, so Tyra, she has recently launched an ice cream brand. Have any of you heard about her ice cream brand? It's called Smize and Dream. And in furtherance of this ice cream venture, Tyra had signed a 10-year lease in Washington, D.C., the area that I'm close to, for the brand. Okay. The landlord rented her the space as is because she promised him this would be the first ever School of Smize ice cream shop. There was a social activism component where they were supposed to be helping underprivileged kids. Great. So that all of this happens in April 2024. All right. So the landlord, Christopher Powell, he's getting ready for Tyra. He's like, oh shoot, Tyra's coming. We're gonna have an ice cream school up in here. And I got a 10-year lease. Come on. June 2024, just a short 2 months later, Tyra and her team ghosted the property. They left and they stopped paying rent. And then next thing you know, Tyra pops up in Australia, and starts and launches her ice cream brand there. Okay. So the landlord, he reaches out to Tyra's people. He's like, hey, what's going on here? I thought, we were doing the School of Ice Cream. Hey, ANTM Smize, what's going on? And her people reached out back to him and basically said that the building was in extremely poor condition, right? Now, remember, he rented the building to the company as is. When you rent a space as is, that means that it's as is. They're not making any repairs. Whatever's wrong with it, that is on you. So for them to say that it was an extremely poor condition, The one in Australia was a pop-up shop, but she signed a 10-year lease in DC because it was supposed to be based here. So now, like I was saying, the landlord, he rented it to them as is. Now, if you've ever, dealt with property, you know that if they say that it is as is, if you ever bought a car as is, it don't matter if that thing break down on you when you get out the lot. You bought it as is, it's yours. So for you to take a 10-year lease for a space as is, you kind of know what you're getting, okay? So when what is going on? So when he went out to them and, or reached out to them and he was like, what's going on? They were like, well, the place is in poor condition. He's like, you signed it as is. And y'all just trying to be weird. So in October of 2024, the landlord, Powell, he filed a lawsuit and he is asking for almost $3 million, $2,831,331 plus late fees, interest, attorney's fees, and other expenses from the abandoned lease. Because remember, Tyra's people signed a 10-year lease. So he's like, I want the money that I would have gotten had they stayed here the 10 years. So this lawsuit has only just gotten to the headlines because, as I was saying, this all happened in 2024. Meanwhile, we've been hearing about Tyra showing up in Australia. She hasn't even talked about it. There has been a motion to dismiss, but she's still promoting the ice cream like ain't nothing wrong. But why I want to bring this to you is that it is very important to understand the legal agreements that you sign. Whether you are a celebrity or just a regular Joe like myself, if you are signing something that is binding you legally, you need to read it in its entirety. And Tyra, to be this mogul, I remember on America's Next Top Model, there was a whole episode where she was teaching the girls about reading legal agreements before you read them, before you sign them. She had them all come in. They were like, she gave them these supposed contracts and said, okay, you have like 10 minutes to sign it. They all signed it. None of them read it. And she's like, all of you signed this document and you don't even know what you just signed up for. And it was a bunch of silly stuff. And of course, she didn't hold them to it. But that just goes to say, how you out here teaching other people how to read contracts and understand what they signing, and you sign an as-is contract and are now complaining because the place is in poor condition. As is usually means poor condition. Has anybody here ever seen a property or a car? I'm sweating so hard. A property or a car that was being sold as is, that was in good condition? Please let me know right now in the chat. If you have ever encountered a property or a vehicle that was being sold as is and was in good condition, please let me know. Okay. Right. She signed up for 11. Girl, it was as is. You knew there might be a body on the stoop. Might be exposed electrical wires, and all of that is on you because you signed an as-is contract. So we will have to wait and see what happens here with Tyra and this DC landlord. I have a feeling that they might settle, because I don't think that Tyra will want this to drag out in the courts, especially considering that she is she is still very much in the zeitgeist. She has brand deals and she doesn't want any bad press. So I feel like they might settle. Does anybody think differently? Do you think that Tyra and her people might fight this in court? Or do you think that what do you think? Do you think they're going to settle, or do you think they're going to fight this in court? Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think Tyra's people will settle, or do you think they're going to fight this lawsuit? What do y'all think? Is Tyra going to fight, or is she going to put it on the hush hush? You're going to be like, look, just take like $2 million and you sign this NDA and don't talk. Or maybe $1 million. I feel like she'd settle for $1 million. But that's me. What do y'all think? Do you think she's going to fight it, or do you think she's going to settle? She's going to settle? Okay. Yeah, I think because it's just easier to settle. It's a 10-year lease, girl. You knew what you were signing. Listen, if they dragged it out in court, if I was the opposing counsel, I would pull up the footage from ANTM where she has them girls signing that thing and showing them to read their contracts and be like, Exhibit A. All right. Okay. All right. Next story that we have, y'all. Do we have any Taylor Swift fans in the house? If you're a Swiftie, if you're a Taylor Swift fan, I don't know, just let me know. I don't know. Does she have a symbol? What do you call what is whatever? Obviously, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. But if you like Taylor Swift, that's all, she cool. Okay. Apparently not. Maybe I scared y'all off. But anyway, so recently Taylor Swift sued a bedding company that named themselves Swift Home. Okay. And I don't think that, I think both sides are in the wrong in some places, but I want you guys to hear the facts. Okay. So this company called Cathay Home, they trademarked the term Swift Home for their bedding line. Okay. This was in 2015. The Fifth Avenue bedding company, they trademarked the name Swift Home. Taylor Swift tried to oppose it, but then just didn't follow through. So if somebody files a trademark and you feel like, no, this is affecting my brand, it's gonna be bad for my they're infringing on my stuff, you can oppose it, but you have to follow up with the USPTO. So she started to oppose it, but then stopped. She just kind of let it fall by the wayside. Okay. Now it takes about 18 to 24 months for a trademark to be registered. So the Swift Home trademark gets registered in September 2016 for bed sheets, pillow covers, blankets, and towels. Taylor still didn't say anything. Okay. Fast forward 2021. Because when you have a trademark, you have there's a 5-year check-in period and a 10-year renewal period. Okay. 26 got registered. 5 years later, got their own trademark. 2021, they do the 5-year check-in. Then 2025. So are y'all following the story? If anything is unclear, please let me know before I go forward, because it's gonna get a little messy. So y'all understand what happened? These people, they started a bedding company in 2015 that was called Swift Home. Taylor Swift started to oppose it, but ignored it. Let it get registered in 2016. They renewed it in 2021, and then now we're in 2025. So in 2025, that bedding company, Swift Home, they post on the gram and they say, and the image is, it's a dog on the bed wearing headphones, clutching Taylor Swift's new album, The Life of a Showgirl. Now remember, Taylor Swift had tried to oppose their initial trademark filing, right? So now you out here poking the bear. They had a post on Instagram of a dog listening to Taylor Swift's album and holding it. Okay. So And then the caption said, Mrs. Swift on repeat. You may still be able to see this. It may still be up on their gram if you go look up Swift Home, right? So October 2025, Cathay what? Swift Home files for a new trademark that includes a winged bird. So they just wanted to change their logo a little bit, right? Then all of a sudden, that's when Taylor's team hits the scene and is like, no. And they filed opposition with the USPTO. They said, no, this brand that we ignored in 2015 and 2016 and 2021, this has gone too far in 2025. All right. They have filed an opposition. They're saying that, you know, it directly uses Taylor's surname, which is her entire brand identity. Is Taylor Swift the only person with the last name Swift out here? Is that her real last name? And I don't associate her with betting. Anyway, but they're saying that because they're using Taylor Swift's last name, the people who are purchasing their products might think that she's affiliated with the company. Okay. And then this part I agree with. Having that gram post with the dog holding the album, that was a little much, especially considering that she had initially tried to deny or oppose your trademark way back when, right? So they're saying that, you know, if they allow them to, you know, expand with this Swift Home trademark, it could dilute her brand's distinctiveness. But there is a problem with the fact that she waited this long to say something. You have known about this brand since 2015, since the filing of 2015. They did a renewal in 2021, right? So the betting company could say, well, she obviously abandoned any any plans to have a homewares company because she saw us rocking for like 10 years. Right. But her lawyer's argument is that they are exploiting her celebrity and profiting off of her name. For me, I'm just like, are you the only person in the world with the last name Swift? And again, I don't associate you with betting. Do you have a betting company? So I don't know how many of y'all think that Taylor has a dog in this fight. Should Taylor give it up or should she keep going? Let me know your thoughts. What do you think about this? What do you think about Taylor Swift going after this betting company after 10 years because they named themselves Swift Home? Let me know what you think. Hey Corey P. Hey Corey P. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Make sure you guys grab your daily heart me's and share this out and tap it out. I'm in here giving y'all some good information. Okay. But I also realized, oh, you know what? I realized I am competing with a lot of lives at this time. That is the thing. A lot of people, nobody thinks betting. Round Nooner said she should give it up. Nobody thinks betting when it comes to her. Okay. Infinity Craft said, I like her, but she's annoying. Okay. All right. So far, Taylor doesn't have any friends over here. But that's okay. I honestly, I don't think they should give it to her. Girl, you know about this for 10 years and you don't have a monopoly on the word Swift. You're not like, get over yourself. Anyway, if they call it Taylor Swift Home, that's different. Ugh. Anyway, moving on. How many of y'all have a Netflix account? Access to a Netflix account. If you have access to a Netflix account, give me an N in the comments. If you pay for that Netflix account, Give me a money emoji. If you have access to a Netflix account, give me an N in the comments. If you pay for that Netflix account, give me a money emoji. I currently have a Netflix account that is it is a 1 year paid membership through my phone, my mobile phone company, and after that I ain't gonna have it no more. Um, but anyway, so let me tell you how somebody stole $11 million from Netflix. So in 2013, there was a director. His name is Carl Rinch. Okay. Thank you. Oh, Round Nunes pays for her Netflix. Okay, money bags. In 2013, a director named Carl Rinch, he made a movie called 47 Ronin, starring Keanu Reeves. Does anybody remember that movie, 47 Ronin? It was like Keanu Reeves. He was like the one white guy in like a house full of samurai. Anyway, the movie did not do well. But for some reason, even when directors flop, people still give them money. So between 2018 and 2019, Netflix paid this director, Carl Rinch, who made that flop of a movie, 47 Ronin, paid him $44 million to create a sci-fi series called White Horse. Okay. So they paid him $44 million to create this series. On top of that, he asked for another 11 million from them to finish the series, and they gave it to him. Okay. So how can you imagine you give somebody $44 million to make something for you, and then they ask you for another 11 million and you give it to them, and you don't get your stuff? Let me tell you what he did with this money. So what Carl Rinch did, he transferred the extra $11 million. He transferred it into various accounts and then into his personal brokerage account. Then he started making weird investments that made him lose most of the money, the $11 million, about half of it. And then he spent the rest of the money on 5 Rolls Royces and a red Ferrari, a Swiss watch, furniture, mattresses, and antiques, and cryptocurrency investments. Okay. He took your whatever you pay in a month for Netflix. Please understand that it went in this man's pocket and he went and bought 5 Rolls Royces. This is why Netflix keeps raising their rate. They're trying to get their money back because this man took their money. Okay. Now, so Netflix sued him. He was convicted on 1 count of wire fraud, 1 count of money laundering, and 5 counts of engaging in monetary transactions from illegal activity. And now he is facing 90 years in prison. So if you see your Netflix bill going up, it's because of this guy, Carl Rinch. Okay. Netflix sued him for breach of contract and misappropriation. They paid a total of $55 million for this series called White Horse that was never delivered. Rinch took production funds that were meant for intellectual property. So they paid him all this money to create intellectual property, something they were going to copyright and keep in their archives, right? And he used it for himself. They hired him. He was a work for hire. They whenever a house like Netflix hires you, it is a work for hire, meaning they want you for a specific reason. They want something specific from you. You're not just a regular employee. Okay. Anything he might have produced for them, meaning like scripts, footage, any materials, that is Netflix property, but they can't find none of it. They don't know where none of it is, right? So this is now his attorney is basically trying to say, well, you can't tell an artist what to do, with the money that you pay them to create. And what they're saying is like, sir, 5 Rolls Royces, get over yourself. They paid you $55 million to make a series. How much did you really need to keep? You could have kept a cool $5 million and still made a good series. All right. So when somebody gives you money to make something for them, you have a legal obligation to do it because you accepted the money. You can't just take it and not fulfill your obligations because you might go to jail. All right. Okay. Let's see. Ooh. Okay. Where are we at time wise? It's 7:45. Okay. Oh my gosh. My voice is like leaving me, but I'm going to do one more story. And this is not a local story. This is actually, no, actually, I don't want to do this because this might confuse you. And I don't want to confuse you. It's a foreign story. So we're not going to do that. Okay. Here's the, excuse me. The last story that we are talking about tonight. Do we have any Lady Gaga fans in the house? Lady Gaga. Ooh, ooh. Any Lady Gaga fans in the house? In the house. So whether you're a fan of hers or not, I'm sure you probably heard of Lady Gaga. Her last album was and tour was named Mayhem, right? And it had a very distinctive design about it. And she was being sued by a surfboard company because the font and design that she used, you like Gaga? I do too. That she used for her Mayhem tour was very similar to this surfboard company. Okay. So when they found out that Lady Gaga was using Mayhem for her tour, they sent a cease and desist, and they were like, "No, you can't use Mayhem. This is ours. Stop selling your tour merch. Like, please, who was really going to do that?" Okay. Anyway, so the judge said that now understand when you have a trademark, even if it is very specific, even if it is very distinctive, it is only in your industry. Okay. So why that, like, again, I always give this example. This is why we can have Dove soap and Dove chocolate. Soap and chocolate are not going to be on the same shelf. Surfboards and Lady Gaga are not going to be on the same shelf. Okay. So basically Lady Gaga wasn't trying to act like she was aligned with this surfboard company. She was using it for artistic purposes. So the judge has sided with Lady Gaga. Okay, guys, when you have something trademarked, it is only trademarked in your industry, not in perpetuity. Okay. So like, I don't know if you guys remember before Kim Kardashian named her shapewear line Skims, she wanted to call it kimono, and everybody was like, what, she's gonna own the word kimono? And it was like, it wasn't a matter of her owning the word kimono, it was just going to be applied for the shapewear. Now, she didn't end up using kimono because the Japanese government literally wrote her a letter and asked her not to, so she didn't, but she could have, right? So in this case with Lady Gaga, she's using this Mayhem design for her art, for her music. She's not using it to sell surfboards or beachwear, right? So I think that the Mayhem Surf Shop, they overstepped their bounds a little bit, and the judge made the right decision. Okay. All right, guys. I'm fading fast. I need to go get myself some sustenance and take care of myself. So this is where I'm going to leave you. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you for your responses. I will be back here next week. I'll be home in Boston, but I'll still be back here next week with more stories for you guys, okay? And if you find anything that you want me to cover while during the week, please send them to me. Don't ever be shy about hitting me up in the DMs if you have something that you want me to talk about. Okay. So I'm gonna leave y'all here tonight. Enjoy yourselves, take care of yourselves, and you know, um, yeah, just take care of yourselves. Bye. All right, we're ending this and share and